Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Now, in this lecture, we will discuss cartilage. The objectives of this lecture is we can study types of cartilage, histology of cartilage, perichondrium, cells, extracellular matrix, structures of each type of cartilage, chondrogenesis, regeneration, and growth. Cartilage. It is a special type of connective tissue which exhibits tensile strength. It provides structural support. It allows flexibility without distortion. It have considerable resilience. In the respiratory system, it forms a framework supporting soft tissues. Because it is a smooth surfaced and resilient, it provides a shock absorbing and sliding areas for joints and facilitates bone movements. Cartilage is also essential for the development and growth of long bones both before and after birth. Types of cartilage. They are hyaline cartilage, including costal cartilage and articular cartilage, fibrocartilage, and elastic cartilage. Just a diagram showing the distribution of these cartilages. Light color hyaline cartilage, we can see this is the hyaline cartilage here. It's all fibrocartilage, just this red color, this is the fibrocartilage, and elastic cartilage just in the pinna, and we can discuss. Similarly, hyaline cartilage disposition in the larynx, trachea, and the respiratory tract. Types of cartilage. The examples of hyaline cartilage which are present, they are the costal cartilages, nasal cartilage, tracheal cartilage, cartilage of the bronchi, epiphyseal cartilage, the long end of the bones, thyroid cartilage, cricoid cartilage, arytenoid cartilage, and articular cartilage covering the articular ends of the bones. In fibrocartilage, they are present in intervertebral discs, interarticular disc, menisci of knee joint, disc of pubic symphysis here. Elastic cartilage, they are present cartilage of pinna, external auditory meatus, Eustachian tube, and cartilage of the larynx, cuneiform and corniculate. They are the examples of the elastic cartilages. Histology of cartilage. Perichondrium. Except in the articular cartilage of joints, all hyaline cartilage is covered by a layer of dense connective tissue, the perichondrium, which is essential for the growth and maintenance of the cartilage. This is the perichondrium. It consists largely of collagen type 1 fibers and contains numerous fibroblasts. Although cells in the inner layer of the perichondrium resemble fibroblasts, they are precursors of chondroblasts which divide and differentiate into chondrocytes. Just this one, it differentiates into the chondroblast. The perichondrium harbors the vascular supply for the avascular cartilage and also contains nerves and lymphatic vessels. Histology of cartilage. Cells of cartilages are chondroblasts, chondrocytes. They synthesize and secrete extracellular matrix, and the cells themselves are located in matrix cavities called lacunae. Extracellular matrix. It composed of fibers and ground substances. Fibers, they are type 2 collagen fibers 9, 10 and 11. The ground substance, there has proteoglycans, glycosaminoglycans, chondroitin 4 sulfate, chondroitin 6 sulfate, keratin sulfate, hyaluronic acid, proteoglycan aggregates, and glycoprotein chondronectin. As a consequence of different functional requirements, three forms of cartilage have variation in matrix composition. Hyaline cartilage, it has type 2 collagen in its matrix. This is the hyaline cartilage, extracellular matrix, and having lacuna with chondrocytes. Elastic cartilage, which is more pliable, this is elastic cartilage, which is more pliable and distensible, possesses, in addition to collagen type 2, an abundance of elastic fibers within its matrix. And number 3, fibrocartilage, presence in regions of the body subjected to pulling forces, is characterized by a matrix containing a dense network of coarse type 1 collagen fibers. In all three forms, cartilage is avascular and is nourished by the diffusion of nutrients from capillaries in adjacent connective tissue, perichondrium, or from synovial fluid in joint cavities. As might be expected of cells in an avascular tissue, chondrocytes exhibit low metabolic activity. Cartilage also lacks lymphatic vessels and nerves. Hyaline cartilage. It is the most common of the three forms. Fresh hyaline cartilage is bluish white and translucent. In the embryo, it serves as a temporary skeleton until it is gradually replaced by bone. The chondrocytes, they are in this diagram, they are located in the lacunae. This part, this is the perichondrium, it is eosinophilic. There is a gradual transition from and differentiation of cells from the perichondrium to the cartilage, with elongated fibroblastic cells becoming larger and more rounded, chondrocytes with irregular surfaces containing the matrix secreted by the cells. So these are the elongated cells and they become now rounded and chondrocytes are formed. These are the chondrocytes. Matrix. 40% of the dry weight of the hyaline cartilage consists of collagen embedded in a firm hydrated gel of proteoglycans and structural glycoproteins. Hyaline cartilage contains primarily type 2 collagen, although small amounts of collagen type 6 and 9 are also present. This is the type 2 collagen fibril. Cartilage proteoglycans contains chondroitin 4 sulfate, chondroitin 6 sulfate, and keratin sulfate covalently linked to core proteins. This is the core protein to which attaches the chondroitin sulfate, and this is the section from the collagen type 2 fibrils. This is the proteoglycans. This is the proteoglycans, and in the center here lies the hyaluronic acid. You can see hyaluronic acid, the structure. Hundreds of these proteoglycans are bound non-covalently to long molecules of hyaluronic acid by link proteins, forming very large proteoglycan aggregates, such as aggrecan that interact with collagen. Structurally, proteoglycan resemble bottle brushes, the protein core being the stem and the radiating glycosaminoglycans chains the bristles. So just like this is proteoglycans, and in the center this is the hyaluronic acid which is attached. The high content of solvation water bound to the negative charges of the glycosaminoglycans act as a shock absorber or biomechanical spring. This is of great functional importance, especially in articular cartilages. In addition to type 2 collagen and proteoglycan, an important component of cartilage matrix is the structural multiadhesive glycoprotein chondronectin. This macromolecule binds specifically to glycosaminoglycans, collagen type 2, and integrins, mediating the adherence of chondrocytes to the extracellular matrix. Cartilage matrix is generally basophilic due to the high concentration of sulfated glycosaminoglycans, and staining variations within the matrix reflect differences in molecular composition. These are the just perichondrial fibroblast. This is the perichondrium, and below this is the cartilage. And this is the chondroblast and here is the interterritorial matrix present. Immediately surrounding each chondrocytes, the extracellular matrix is richer in glycosaminoglycans and poor in collagen. These areas comprises the territorial matrix. So this is the just surrounding this chondrocyte. This is the territorial matrix, and in between these chondrocytes and this is the interterritorial matrix. So just surrounding the chondrocytes present the territorial matrix, and it stains different from the rest of the matrix. Chondrocytes. At the periphery of the hyaline cartilage, young chondrocytes have an elliptical shape within the long axis. These have elliptical shape parallel to the surface. Further in they are round and may appear in groups of up to 8 cells, originating from mitotic divisions of a single chondrocytes. These groups are called isogenous aggregates. Chondrocytes synthesize collagen and the other matrix molecules. As matrix is produced, cells in the aggregates are moved apart and occupy separate lacunae. Because cartilage is devoid of blood capillaries, chondrocytes respire under low oxygen tension. Hyaline cartilage cells metabolize glucose mainly by anaerobic glycolysis to produce lactic acid as the end product. Nutrients from the blood diffuse through the perichondrium to reach the more deeply placed cartilage cells. Transport of water and solutes is promoted by the pumping action of intermittent cartilage compression and decompression. Because of the limits of diffusion, the maximum width of the cartilage is limited, and cartilage usually is found as small, thin plates of tissue. Chondrocyte function is hormone dependent. Synthesis of sulfated glycosaminoglycans is accelerated by growth hormone, thyroxine, and testosterone. It is slowed by cortisone, hydrocortisone, and estradiol. Cartilage growth depends mainly on the pituitary-derived growth hormone somatotropin. This hormone doesn't act on the cartilage cells directly, but promotes endocrine release in the liver of insulin-like growth factor 1 (IGF-1), sometimes called somatomedin C. IGF-1 acts directly on cartilage cells, promoting their growth. Applied anatomy. Cartilage cells can give rise to a benign tumor, that is chondroma, and malignant tumors, that is chondrosarcoma. Now coming towards the next, the elastic cartilage. It is structure similar to hyaline cartilage, except that it contains an abundant network of fine elastic fibers in addition to collagen type 2 fibrils. Fresh elastic cartilage has yellowish color owing to the presence of elastin in the elastic fibers. Elastic cartilage possesses a perichondrium. This is the perichondrium. On each side we can see this is the perichondrium, and the cells, chondrocytes, they are present in the lacunae. The cell size and distribution in elastic cartilage is very similar to that of the hyaline cartilage. Fibrocartilage. It is a tissue intermediate between dense connective tissue and hyaline cartilage. It is found in intervertebral discs, in attachments of certain ligaments, and in the pubic symphysis. Fibrocartilage is always associated with dense connective tissue and the border between these two tissues is not clear cut, showing a gradual transition. Fibrocartilage contains chondrocytes either singly or in isogenous aggregates, usually arranged axially in long rows, separated by coarse collagen type 1 fibers and less proteoglycans than other forms of cartilage. Because it is richer in collagen type 1, the fibrocartilage matrix is more acidophilic. So, this is the matrix which is more eosinophilic, and these are the cells, osteocytes in the range having leucina surrounding them. They are arranged axially. Just you can see they are the long they are running. In fibrocartilage, dense collagen fibers can form either irregular or parallel bundles between the axial aggregates of chondrocytes. These are the bundles of the chondrocytes, and these dense collagen fibers, they are arranged, parallel bundles are arranged. The general orientation of the collagen depends on the stresses on fibrocartilage, since the collagen bundles take up a direction parallel to those stresses. There is no distinct perichondrium in fibrocartilage. Cartilage formation. All cartilage derives from the embryonic mesenchyme in the process of chondrogenesis. The first indication of cell differentiation is the rounding up of the mesenchymal cells, which retract their extensions, multiply rapidly, and form cellular condensations. The cells formed by this direct differentiation of mesenchymal cells are called chondroblasts, have a ribosome-rich basophilic cytoplasm. Synthesis and deposition of the matrix then began to separate the chondroblasts from one another. During embryonic development, the differentiation of cartilage takes place primarily from the center outward. Therefore, the more central cells have the characteristic of chondrocytes, whereas the peripheral cells are typical chondroblasts. The superficial mesenchyme develops into the perichondrium. This diagram showing the process of chondrogenesis. In the first step, there is embryonic mesenchyme is the precursor tissue. These are the mesenchymal cells of all types of cartilage. These are the chondroblast formation. Mitotic proliferation of mesenchymal cells and early differentiation give rise to tissue with condensation of rounded cells. These are the chondroblasts. Then chondroblasts are separated from one another by their own production of various matrix components which collectively swell with water and form a great amount of extracellular matrix. So, this is the extracellular matrix. Then, the multiplication of the cartilage cells give rise to isogenous aggregates, such surrounded by condensation of the territorial matrix. In mature cartilage, this interstitial mitotic activity ceases and all chondrocytes typically become more widely separated by their production of the matrix. So, these are the isogenous group cells. Further growth of cartilage is attributable to two processes: interstitial growth resulting from the mitotic division of pre-existing chondrocytes, oppositional growth resulting from differentiation of the perichondrial cells. In both cases, the synthesis of matrix contributes greatly to the growth of the cartilage. Interstitial growth also occurs in the epiphyseal plates of the long bones and within articular cartilage. In the epiphyseal plates, interstitial growth is important in increasing the length of the long bones. Except in young children, damaged cartilage undergoes slow and often incomplete regeneration by activity of cells in the perichondrium, which invade the injured area and generate new cartilage. In extensively damaged areas and occasionally in small areas, the perichondrium produces a scar of dense connective tissue instead of forming new cartilage. The poor regenerative capacity of cartilage is due in part to the avascularity of this tissue. Applied anatomy. In contrast to other tissues, hyaline cartilage is more susceptible to degenerative aging processes. Calcification of the matrix preceded by increase in the size and volume of the chondrocyte and followed by their death, is a common process in some cartilage. Asbestiform degeneration, frequent in aged cartilage, is due to the formation of localized aggregates of thick abnormal collagen fibrils. Thank you.